Thanks, Mark and Nicholas, for inviting me to speak today. And hi, everyone, and welcome. My name's Ross Manariti, and I'm the technical product owner of the IP domain management team for Telstra, or as we affectionately are known as the NSO software factory. I sit here and I can't believe it's been almost 5 years since we began our NSO journey. Time's gone by so quickly, and I can tell you it's been quite a ride. Filled with challenges, frustration, but also success, achievements, and a sense of pride. A sense of pride that we've really delivered value to Telstra through our automation. Today, I thought I'd focus on our automation story, how it began, why it began, what it's taken from a cultural shift and ways of working. I'll also briefly mention how we think about automation today, our capability building blocks, our strategies, and I'll also, towards the end, go through some success stories and share some of our thoughts on our learnings. Before I go any further, I'll leave some time at the end of the presentation to take questions, where I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. All right, so moving on to our automation journey, a journey born in resilience. We've been working with Cisco for quite some time about how to integrate NSO into our network. But it was a real struggle in the start to secure business case drivers to get started. Well, there's nothing like a statewide outage to your enterprise business services on the last day of a financial year to kickstart change. With thousands of network appliances still manually configured in Telstra's network today, it's no surprise what trouble you can get yourself into, believe me. We've been down a scripting path before, but we knew it wasn't the answer for us, especially if we wanted to scale our automation and make it sustainable. But NSO gave us a new approach, a model-driven approach, which was very unknown to us at the start, but a way to be able to tailor our services, be able to orchestrate our configuration across many vendors' devices across our large domains. It gave us an ability to provide our users of our capability an intent-based way of making changes, which was extensible and reusable. Of course, the business was really keen for us to grow and automate as many networks as quickly as we can. So coming from a networking background, we decided to adopt a different approach, a way of working based on high-performance software engineering. We developed a factory model. We looked at agile to incremental value, to provide incremental value through iterative releases, and driven by CI/CD pipelining. We wanted to build the next hybrid engineer, a blend of software skills and network engineering skills, which is pretty rare in Telstra to find. So we looked to educate through our Learning Academy program. And while we were working through in the background, doing this stuff in the back of office, our front of office was working on a company strategy called T22. T22 provides product simplification, digitization of our enterprise products for consumption by our consumers, providing them better customer experience and ways of engaging with our network services. So we actually found that we aligned directly with our company goal by having capability now that we could expose our network services to the digital stack for our customers, make our networks consumable through API standards-driven approaches. Okay, an automation undertaking the size of Telstra, ways of working is a critical success factor. Just to give you an indication of size, our IP domain management team today is around 90 people, made up of Telstra, Cisco AS or professional services, and our IT partners. 60% of our team is offshore. To date, we've delivered around 50 automation projects over the last 2 years. And if you think about that, this is, deploying a production capability almost every 2 weeks. So it's relentless and non-stop. So, at the heart of this is people. And we decided to look at a matrix style organization with several layers, our lighthouse being our guiding light, and providing that architectural leadership, providing consistency in the way we develop our solutions, consistency in the way our people interact with each other and with our clients, and consistency in our behaviours, and also following best practices set out by the lighthouse. So we really engaged a team of guys that had that experience. We then shift the work down to our design leads, a group of solution architects, both in software and also in network domain expertise. And these guys design and develop our capabilities and lead our feature teams into delivering to our customers. And of course, then we've got a layer of feature teams, and we've got multiple feature teams, and we can spin up and down our feature teams. And that includes, software developers and testers, both in software and networking. We have business analysts to decompose. We have release managers, scrum masters. So it's almost an agile at scale release train team we have there. The processes were very, very important for us. We knew we had to set up some processes, or slowly we would probably, we'd run out of spaghetti code control. But the processes through our learning academy and our DevOps was key for us to drive that consistency and scale as well. So we developed in-house boot camps for our new developers and team members to come in and be able to go through a boot camp. The boot camps covered our infrastructure, how it's put together, our CI/CD pipelines, our NSO, our networks, our microservices that sit around NSO, and our workflow management that sits around there. We also worked hard with Cisco and our partner to develop a program specific for Telstra to develop new incoming network engineers to be ready for us to consume into the factory. So working hard with Cisco and our other partner, who really dedicated a lot of their own time to make sure that when we required new people, they were ready in weeks rather than in months to be to come in and understand and be productive. So that's been a key reason why we've been able to get through. I'll talk about our CI/CD pipeline, but I'm not going to go through anything technical about it. But I wanted to talk about its importance for us and the value it's given, especially for the size and scale of our automation program. When we started, we really only had a couple of projects. We had NSO sitting in a small VM cluster, and we only had a small development team. But we pushed hard to go at scale, and we found ourselves, very quickly requiring more resources to be able to churn our projects out. So early on, we adopted a container-based development environment, Kubernetes environment. So we run NSO, our microservices, our workflow managers, and any other supporting applications we need in that environment. And we use Cisco Container Platform actually to help us manage those environments. This has allowed us to support many parallel projects and environments. And if you think we've got 8 to 10 feature teams, the feature teams might be running up to 3 environments in parallel at any one time. A development environment branched off the major branch. We might have an integration test environment. We have a pre-production environment, and obviously the production environment. So if you think about 10 or so feature teams, 3 environments, very quickly the amount of NSO development environments, including of all the source code and all the other bits and pieces that need to go in there, connecting all of those environments to the network, to virtual devices, to real devices. It's quite an important part of our ability to develop at scale, but also develop with quality and accuracy and consistency. And if I remember in the early days, when we'd get a request for a new project and we spin up an environment, we'd have to take some of our team aside to build an environment for a new incoming feature team. And it'd take 3 to 4 days to put the environment together. But now we're in a self-service environment where a developer or a tester or even someone outside of our team can come inside and spin up their own development environment in minutes. So it's allowed us to scale to phenomenal sizes. Sometimes scary, to be honest, because I go and check with the team at any one time. There could be 50 projects on the go in parallel across 10 feature teams and external teams and internal teams. So it can get quite chaotic, but my recommendation is spend some time here, guys. If you want to scale large, it's quite an important piece of the puzzle. I'll talk about our automation capabilities and the way we think about our strategy in developing those automations. We think about pillars when we think about automation, and we've got 4 pillars that we talk about regularly here. The foundation to our automation is based around configuration management. And configuration management is quite a broad topic, but for us, the key is to build resiliency and eliminate errors. What that means for us is being able to onboard our network devices and services into NSO, go through standardizing of our configurations. And I can tell you, we look at some brownfields networks that have been in there for 15 years. We can find quite a lot of interesting configuration. But, the important part of this pillar is to be able to standardize that configuration and make it consistent. Model it, clean it up, make the network changes, and build a base that provides stability when you need to make changes to the underlying network resources. So with our configuration management base in place, we move on to our next pillar, which is around change management. We've taken a lot of time and effort to get our network under NSO control. We want to keep it that way. So we want to be able to provide our users and network operators a way of making infrastructure changes to the network, inserting cards, making software upgrades, making base configuration changes, or whatever they need to do. We want them to do it using NSO. We want them to not only use NSO, but we want to provide a different way of being able to do that. So we built what we call the MOP Launchpad, and we with Cisco and a company called iTential and their product called Pronghorn. I think now they call it iTential Automation Platform. Workflow Manager and API Gateway, and it's got a bunch of other cool tools. You should check them out if you can. We built what we called our MOP automation framework, allowing our network engineers to come to a console, design their network changes using a workflow manager, and integrated in the back end through NSO. They could test the MOP automation, then they could promote that into a work task for their field staff to use during the night. And this has provided a real change in the way people interact with NSO and the system to be able to make network changes. You don't need to be a network NSO engineer to drive complex changes in your network. The MOPs are really intent based. So it's been quite a journey to get here, but it's quite rewarding now to be able to see our network guys go in at night time and either double or triple their changes, or get through a change program, a month's worth of change program within weeks, and with no errors and quality. So that's been a real plus for us. It's made a huge difference. The next 2 pillars are pretty related, and it talks to us now. We've got the network infrastructure under control. We can automate changes. We can standardize configurations. We can turn up new devices. But now service management and service lifecycle allows us that next layer of value and monetization on what we've built. And so, as I mentioned earlier before, Telstra has embarked on a digitisation program to digitise its enterprise business products and move away from some of the legacy, business services and the ways of order management and, providing orders and services to our customers. Our service management focuses on developing atomic services that we can expose up through service catalogues and make available for our upper layers to consume. Service catalogues include Ethernet, IPVPN, internet services, and an atomic layer. And our BSS guys can mix and match those particular atomic services to build products that they can offer to our customers. Of course, it's consumed via APIs, and then we use NSO and a few other components to orchestrate across our network. So, this really has helped with faster product to market. So being able to develop new products and get them out to market much faster than the old life cycle, which could have taken 6, 9, 12 months plus sometimes to release new products to market. And of course, if we're going to create services, we need to be able to life cycle the services. So our last pillar, which is probably our most immature, but we're working on it, talks to being able to life cycle the services that we create on the network. So we're working through a range of capabilities to be able to create a service, assign it an SLA, and then use capabilities like streaming telemetry and other packet controller functions, segment routing functions, BGPLS, and all those cool networky tools to bring in that data and use it against the service creation that we've done to be able to provide service assurance down to the customer level. And then not only that, but also monetize that down the track where we can offer customers, the ability to come in and look at their own services and run some functions against the network for those. So this pillar, we talk about simplifying operations and moving to an always on network. I'll take a pause now, and I'll take some time to go through a couple of our use cases or success stories. I thought I'd share an old one and talk about a new one. So our first use case, which actually took us around 12 to 14 months to develop, centers around our enterprise business Ethernet network. And it's the same network where we experienced quite a significant statewide outage, and it's probably what got us started on NSO. So although it was painful to live through there, its opportunity has arisen from that, and we've been able to since move on and build many automation stories across all of our network platforms. But this one's close to our heart because we've seen the bad, and we can now see the good. To give you an expectation of the size of scale, this network that we've automated has around 170,000 logical elements. Unis, VLANs, ports, all the logical components needed to build up our Ethernet services. Today, it's at around about 47,000 network devices, and soon we're towards the end of our financial year, June, we'll be ready to launch and add another 25,000 devices to that automation journey. We have, hundreds of field staff using the tool today, so we can have, up to 100 simultaneous users configuring on this network daily. And that's been another part of our learnings that we've had to be able to scale up not only NSO to configure, but also to be able to distribute the tool to a large field base. We get over 1,000 NSO transactions on this network a day. So calls to NSO to do some configuration task on this network, there's probably over 1,000 of those done a day. I think we counted something like 6,000 API requests from our front end tools into NSO daily to make changes and build services on this network. So prior to NSO, as you can see, the traditional way of managing this network and putting services on this network was had a range of things through manual provisioning, manual builds of configuration. It is multiple network element configurations. Some network elements have varied amounts of service variations to configure. Many different networks. There could be 20 network appliances in the service path, and all of this obviously doing it manually led to data errors and potential, and also resulted in risk to customers and impact to customers. I recall in the days before NSO, we would probably experience up to 4 severity 1 outages on this network per year on average. Severity 1 is where a large part of your business subscriber base can't use their services at all. So very somber times, a lot of pressure, as you'd probably be aware if you've been in the engineering game, network engineering game before. But touch wood, not to jinx ourselves, since we deployed this automation and went live in middle of 2017, we haven't experienced any outages, not even a low severity outage. So it's truly a resiliency success story with NSO. So we were able to use one tool, one process for all actions. So field staff were able to go in there, and if they had to turn up a new device on site, commission it, put a service on there, tick off that customers A-OK, could all be done with one tool and one process. So obviously it speeds up being able to deploy new services, but it's provided consistent data. Consistent data has allowed us to do other network infrastructure changes around it with certainty, and it's obviously significantly reduced our network outages. I'll move on to our second use case. This is a recent one, and it's around our fixed broadband service offering. And we've coined it NBN CVC Modification. A CVC is a connectivity virtual circuit that we purchased from our national broadband network provider. Now in Telstra, our national broadband network provider owns the copper and the fibre assets, and all of the retail service providers, including Telstra, need to purchase services from NBN to on-sell to our fixed broadband customers. As you can imagine, buying these CVCs comes at a cost, and the cost is measured in bandwidth. So we buy certain bandwidth to make sure that our customers get a certain level of experience, but that costs us quite a bit of money. It's quite expensive. So we needed a way to be able to maybe shrink and grow the bandwidth on demand, and therefore growing when our customers really needed it to give them an excellent experience, but also shrinking it when we see patterns of not so much usage, to be able to save lots of money. And I can tell you, deploying this automation has saved us millions and millions of dollars. So it's a real success story when we talk about the efficiency of automation to bring around some real cost savings. So, as the graphic shows, you can see the top half, a lot of convoluted process steps and manual activities that went along. We purchased around about 2,000 connectivity virtual circuits from our broadband provider. But in the early days, through the manual parts, we're only able to modify or augment 300 CVCs per week. It'd take 3 days to process the change, get the change ready, and then it'd take us several weeks to get through the 2,000 to upgrade or downgrade. We built some AI or machine learning capabilities into the system, and that's the application you see right in the middle of the lower graphic. It's called Minister. And on its own, it does a really great job at analysing the network and understanding the traffic patterns. But powering it with NSO has been the real success story. So now with that collaboration between Minister and NSO, or integration between Minister and NSO, we're able to modify the full 2,000 CVCs in a single day. It takes a day to prepare, and then you click a button and the whole network is upgraded or downgraded in the same day. And if I think to where we're at the moment with COVID, and Australia's been lucky, but we also had to go through a time when mostly our workforce and our students all had to work from home and get used to using their internet service from home to be able to go about their work and about their studies. This provided real value and benefit to Telstra, because we were able to respond within a day to our customers' demand. So as we could see traffic trends increasing for people working from home, we're able to respond daily, seamlessly daily, and that really meant we kept obviously our costs to the right level, but it gave our customers a seamless experience as they transitioned working from the office to home. Okay, I thought I'd end on some learnings that we've achieved along the way, focusing on success factors and some opportunity to improve. So what we consider success factors is commitment from staff and management to our automation journey. Staff and management have really gotten on board as our journey's grown, and it's provided the support we've required. Having a strong blended skill set, engineers that can code software, design software, but also understand and design networks to provide a great business solution to our customers, and also understand the process that our customers undertake when they make the network changes. Learning pathways, developing a learning academy has been critical. Being able to onboard team members quickly and getting them productive in weeks has been crucial to our long-sustained success. Using agile methodologies and CI/CD pipelining tools has allowed us to deliver value fast on a large scale and with accuracy. The opportunities we see to continue to improve is improving our collaboration with our product engineers and network engineering teams and getting them involved on the journey more. Focusing on making sure we can continue to build more reusable services to keep our code base under control, but also to be able to scale and deliver faster. Growing our day two support team so we can have a clear detachment between our designers that are innovating, but also our day two support team that are triaging faults, providing hot fixes, and bringing back messages from the field. And lastly is continuing to build out our dashboards and our metrics, being able to monitor what NSO does and the applications around it, so we can stay on top of performance, make the next moves when it comes to being able to make architectural changes with NSO to be able to scale to the next level. So I'll close there and I'll open it up for Q&A, and thank you.